Hey there, welcome back to the Little Jewel Show. That's right, 1950 something, international cab ahead of engine now. Mid-engine? I don't know. Hot rod? Rat rod? I don't know. It's open to interpretation. Last episode, we got these fuel tanks set in. It's looking pretty cool. One thing I wanted to accomplish with this was it's going to be a driver. We got front fenders on, but the backs, those exposed tires, not good enough for me. We're gonna build some fenders, albeit abbreviated fenders, but you know, in case we get any stress from the local law enforcement, we'll have something covering the top of the tire. And we got a trailer hitch. We could always just make a little mud flap kit that plugs right in the trailer hitch, stops the rocks from slinging out the back end. Thinking 3 steps behind every time. That's how we roll. Let's try to create a fender, shall we? All right, so if you know me, and by now I hope you do know me, you know that I never finish projects yet on this channel. And I mean, Little Jewel's been going on for years, right? Look at the dynamic, look at the range of transformation that's gone on here. Am I right? Am I right? About the journey, not the destination. At least that's my excuse today. Rear fenders, fronts are fiberglass copies. They're 32 Ford copies, 31, 32. You know, whatever they are, they look pretty good to me. Did a lot of figuring out on the fronts. Got them mounted, they're strong. The rears, we have the same kit car fenders, but we have huge tires. I mean, not only is the diameter larger than the front, the width is just massive. I mean, to see these on the back of a hot rod Ford, that's just way overkill. They're probably heavier than half of the back end of the car. Either way, Little Jewel is a heavy mother trucker. You ain't scared about these fenders or these tires. What I got is some rears that I split in half. Yep, there they are. So, wait a second. That's not even the right one. That's for that side. So as I was saying, we got fenders that are split in half, and that's that side. I don't write the jokes, I just deliver them. Okay, so as I was saying, we got these fenders that are split in half. Your standard style Ford fender. They kind of went on the car like that. You know, I got a thing for the Johnny Jalopy School of Styling. And when we were doing the Funky Futura, he said, man, you want some flip up on that fender. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I just mentioned about the mud flaps. So what if we just put these on like that? The whole thing is, if you're on the crane, you know, there's gonna be a platform up here. It's gonna be walkable. There's gonna be a step. And you may at some point, if you're operating this, you know, you may need to step on this, so we want that strong. And I love to see the tire. So I think, you know, something in this orientation is cool, but we're gonna have to make a structure, we're gonna have to widen these things and make it walkable. So I believe, where did I see it? Okay, on a rumble seat of a Ford car, you know, something with these fenders, you open the trunk, there's a rumble seat. So imagine, not that we need a rumble seat, but imagine if there was a step pad on this fender. You know, nothing completely metal, but like a little traction pad. So if you were up here and you just need to get, you know, to move something, you weren't stepping on this delicate fiberglass. See what I'm saying? When I said we were gonna build a fender, you know, things always get complicated for me. Definitely not gonna step on these. So I'll remember, they're right there. I took this 1-inch square tube and I put it in the roller. And I'm pretty close, right? So let's relax that curve a little bit. Relaxing the curve is easy enough in this case because got a big heavy tire that we can lump hammer on. Yeah, that relaxed it. I like that. So, yeah, and that comes down to about there. Now, what we need to do is get this off of the tire like so, because this is going to move with the suspension. The fender will be suspended by the axle, so we don't have to worry about the tire going up and down in the fender. But I believe maybe just a little more relaxing. Let's just put in this trailer hitch. Let's give it a little pull, pull, pull. Do the same there. There. Now let's see what we're working with. So that's the straight end. The straight end's gonna go down. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Cool. So the straight end is gonna drop vertical to the ground right there. And then that's gonna pop off about yay amount. Yay amount. Yay and verily. Wait till you check this out. I had an old boss. That was one of his favorite things to say. Yay and verily. I guess it sounded official. We need to space that off and hold it in place. So I'm gonna get a tie-down strap and a number of the leftover wooden blocks from the UFO. Yes, I imagine this to be adequate spacing. You think? Is that too little? Yeah, that's cool. I had some other people talking to me about possibly kicking up rocks in this small space between the tire and the fender, like on the front. Am I worried about that? If I was driving a gravel truck, I'd be worried. You know what? I ain't scared. Let's put a jack under here. I'm gonna put a strap around this whole tire and lock those in place. Now this truck is heavy. This is a 2-ton floor jack. So it's within the rate to lift one of these tires, but hoo-wee, this jack knows it's working. Like when you pick up a car, these things just lift. Pick up this truck, it's like, woo, you are on that handle. I don't know, it's a pretty long way around this baby. Let's see what we got. Let's go for the big strap. In case you didn't get to the memo last episode, Jamie is currently visiting family, so that's why there was that delay of no videos. I mean, right now I'm talking from the future. That's why last week the video delivery was slow. I mean, I'm actually talking from the past about the future, acting as if we're in. That's complicated. Let's not get this too technical. We're gonna lose everybody's interest. Let's put this strap on, lock in some wood spacers, and we are off to the rodeo. All right, so as usual, with my loose way of doing things, we're gonna put the, ooh, don't break everything. Yeah, we're gonna put the strap right there. And now we are going to have to somehow convince all these wooden pieces to stay in place. This should be exciting. Oh, it's gonna, because we got the weight there. Never mind. See, I'm thinking out loud. So this strap is going to freaking melt when we weld it, isn't it? Is that too much? No. We're gonna have to cut this and relax the curve as well. Not a big deal, but we're definitely gonna have to slice it and let it open. I like that. It works right with this shape on the side of the tire. That's what we're aiming for. Good. Let's put more of these. So, we got this one at about 330. I can't see from that side. Would you consider that 330? Something like that. We got this one. Am I on the right side of the dial here? This one is at about, what do you think? Is that 2:30, 2 o'clock? I don't know. Either way. Somewhat spaced around the thing. Trying to keep this strap in the center too, because we are going to weld, but I'm going to try to weld on both sides of this. And now we're going to come up to here, weld midnight. That actually worked. I really wasn't sure if that was going to work. but it did. So we're good. A little tighter. Love it. Whew, got away with it. So we're not gonna just put the fiberglass on here because we have to make it wider. We're gonna put steel. We're gonna make a big steel band and then we're gonna put that on. I got some 18 gauge. Hopefully we have enough. You know me. Oh, I wanna give a shout out to the driver from AZ, like Arizona, AZ Metals. My pickup truck's dead, as we know, so had to order a metal delivery. I got a lot of metal. Wait till you see this, because I had to pay for it to get delivered. Anyway, the driver shows up and he's just like, "Are you that guy I follow?" I was like, "Yep." Introduced himself. Of course, I'm horrible with names, but I want to say, "What's up?" Driver from AZ Metals. Took him in, gave him a little walk around, tour of the shop, and he was stoked. Cool dude. I was like, "Yeah, man. Follow us on YouTube. I'll see you next time with the delivery." So this is here, and our piece, right? So you see what I'm saying? See what I'm doing here? We're gonna cover this, but we need a significant strip of steel. Why steel, you say? Because we're gonna have to make a bracket that holds that to the axle. And steppable, onable. So fiberglass is just the surrounding material. Steppable, onable. You heard that here. I got 7 inches. You may need substantially more than that, but 7's what I'm working with today. Boom. Let's get some sheet metal. Would you look at this? These are the pieces that I miscut for the bug vent. I have 2 pieces already pre-cut. All right, I'm gonna step over to that slip roller and give this some curvature. I have a little difficulty positioning the camera. We have got a shop full of UFO. It's in every shot, it seems. Let's just see. I can't curve this too much because it's thin. Well, maybe that's too much. Funny, I just said I can't curve this too much, and here we are. Let's put this on the tire. We're gonna do the same thing we just did with that other piece. I'm gonna set this in place. Give it the love that it needs. Closer. My little slapper. That's better. So we want some tension in the design. So let's bring that steel tube back to those little supports and set it up. This is cool. I thought I was gonna have to do a whole bunch of messing around with sheet metal. Not the case. All right, so we're definitely gonna have to relax this more. Straight part's going down side. Yeah, not a lot more. It's pretty close. What would you say? Just a little bit more pull. Kind of hard to judge the radius just by eye. But if you just keep kind of pulling it with a stretch. Oh, that's better. I think we're gonna do this. We're gonna really, because this goes straight down, and I know that's hitting. So we're gonna favor the bottom. Ooh, I just felt that go. Might have did it too much. Look at that, it fits. Excelente. Okay, so follow me here. We want this piece. Actually, let's just check this out for a second. We're clocking about 110 degrees on the outside today. That's, it'll get to 120 here, which is absolutely brutal. But 110, that ain't no joke either. You feel it. I was outside working in the yard yesterday afternoon. Took a lot of adult beverages to keep this machine cool. I told you I just had the square. It's because it was on the table when I was clearing the table for the sheet metal operation. That's all I was trying to do. Give a rough estimate of straight downtown, like that. So, that's that. Marker. Man, good thing we don't do live concerts. I wouldn't be a good entertainer. Be in the middle of a jam, you know. First album our band ever produced, it'll be a flop. I'd be trying to bring it live. And I'd be like, where's my magic marker? Just gonna do this. That way we have reference of placement. Cool. So what I'm gonna do is, because I don't wanna burn this strap up, I'm going to build the frame that holds this piece while it's sitting here. Then after this is attached to the axle, I'm gonna pull the strap out, slide the sheet metal in under, then attach it. Does that make any sense? Makes sense to me. Primary feature being here, we're not gonna burn that strap. So, guess we're gonna hold this thing in place. I got a big old clamp, I'll be right back. When I say clamp, in this case, I mean clip. Clip, clamp, clump. It's all the same thing in this shop, right? Got that, got that. Wish I had another one, but I don't. Let's try to grab this in the center. So I'm looking right down the center of the tread here. Nothing too technical at this point. We can always adjust. Let's just validate. So that's good. Let's go to the overhead and take a look. This is gonna have to be a pretty strong thing to stand on. So I got some 1.5" round stock. And that's only one part of the metal order. The sheet metal's outside. All right, so this is what I'm imagining for the first piece of tube. And of course I wasn't thinking, and this is directly in the way. But, what I was thinking was the piece of tube is gonna come up, gonna turn over. Actually, is that I bet I could get away with that. Or maybe I want the brace on the top. Yeah, let's do this brace on the top, and we'll hang this below it, and we'll have that big metal pad up here. That's what we're gonna do. All right, so that's roughly 1.25-ish. Well, so it comes out to about 1.5 inches. So we're coming up from the axle. We're going over and beyond. That's 30 inches. We're gonna need a little bit more. Well, no, 30 inches, a piece of 30-inch will do it because we're gonna stretch it in the bender. Yes, so let's make it 33, just to be sure, give or take. That's a big old tube. I don't think I'm gonna carry that tube over to the saw, am I? You know, I am. Let's get adventurous. We had this other hoop in here. I gotta fix the handle on my dang saw. I don't know what's going on with this guy. It worked so good for so many years, and then I moved it, and it's starting to fuss. It's starting to fuss with me. 33 times 2 is 66. So to keep our leverage with that 20-foot piece, we're gonna do a 66-inch drop off that side. This is one of the reasons I was stoked about this shop, because I have always wanted to be set up, have a lot of space around the saw. And I tell you, once I figure this place out, I might just have a lot of space around the saw. But today's not that day. 66. One of these decades I'll get organized, I swear, I swear. Let's have that to 33. We got one per side. So see what I'm saying here? We got that. It's gonna come to that. Yeah, we are definitely oversized, which is a good thing. So we're gonna start the bend right here. Pull that bend that away, 90 degrees, see what we got. One of these days I'm gonna get a real handle for this too. I'm sure of it, but today is not that day. 90 degrees, here we go. So this is 1.5 by a little under 1/8 inch wall thickness. So it bends easy, but you'll see it's gonna change the shape a little bit as we pull around the dial. And that doesn't matter to me, because it's still gonna be very strong. If it was a roll cage, it's not gonna work. But I didn't wanna I don't want to spend the extra money for something we don't need. This is going to be plenty adequate for a fender support slash step. Got our calibrator on there, pulling it. Might be a little bit off once we relieve the stress. Let's find out. Looks like it's a little bit loose, but I think that's okay, because what that's going to do is take us a little bit further out onto the axle. No, we want it tighter. We want to pull it one more clicker into shape. We're close. Get that. This is one reason I like the manual machine. You know, for stuff like this, the hydraulic ones, they kind of have a slow down a little bit. And this, you can mess with it. You know, just because it has a readout dial of bend on the machine, you know, there's always a little bit of spring back. So you have to figure out the spring back for everything. Again, if you're making a whole bunch of them, of course you want that feature. We're making 2 of these. And that's definitely over 90 degrees, but we got a trailer hitch, we got a framing square. We're not that far past the mark. And this isn't exceptionally strong tubing, so let's just set that. Whoa. Wow, this is pretty strong tubing. We need a big old handle on this. There we go. You don't want to punch your face. You don't want to punch yourself in the face with this. If this thing comes out of the trailer hitch, you don't want to hit your elbow in a UFO. Nothing worse than the pain of alien machinery. I mentioned the pain of alien machinery, you know? It's like getting a weird type of infection or something. Oof, it's tough. This is perfect. Look at this. That way, that's just outside. And we have to cut off about a ½ inch of this. Or do we want to bring this closer? Yeah, let's bring that right in. Let's bring that right there. Centered up. Be right back. I gotta cut off just a touch of this. All right, so this is what I'm getting at. It's gonna sit there. Wait, what happened? Took the material off and this thing got longer? Nah, we're just gonna do that. Yeah, let's do this. Or do I want it that far? No, that's centered. Let's just do that. Just like that. Okay. So this looks good. I'm gonna tack this to this frame here. And then we're gonna drop that. And we're gonna gusset the heck out of that. I'm gonna clean that with the grinder. Because if you're thinking what I'm thinking, this truck's gonna need a place to have taillights, and that's a perfect setup. We get the welder. So this is what I'm getting at. Got a little tape measure wall. See how accurate this is? Going right to the end of that. That is looking good all around. Now we are welding this in, no apologies. Looks good. So a lot of times, just to keep things moving along quickly, see, I just grabbed this big old piece. I'm just gonna tack it on right here and cut it off after it's welded. I mean, seriously. I'm just trying to grab this and not put so much heat on the strap. That way it's locked in. I can just trim that back with the grinder. After this is gone, all good. So one more hit right here. Good. Let's put that gusset in just to spread out this landing point. See how much we got. have a maximum of 6. That should be cool. I'm gonna run over the table, see if we got a piece of 6-inch something. Okay, well, as usual, I don't. So what can we do? Do we need a full plate supporting that? I don't think we do. Just for a step, this is gonna have no lift up on it ever. It's just gonna put leverage that way. So why don't we just come out 6 inches? We have all this trussing on the truck. Why don't we follow that lead? Let's come out with a round, solid 6 by 18. Well, not 6 by 18. We'll go out 6 inches. We'll come up 18 inches. We'll find a piece of that. Wouldn't you know it, that's all I have. What do we think about that, class? We're gonna have other shots coming off. No, I think I want to keep it looking simple. Man, I thought I had some, I do have 6-inch plate right here. We had 18, so let's split the difference. I'm gonna cut this at 9, and I'm gonna make 2 triangles. So see where I'm going with this? I'm just gonna split it in half. We're gonna have 2 gussets, 1 for each side. I'm gonna slice that, be right back. See what I did there? Times 2. So nip the little corner off so that weld on the bottom of the tube isn't interfering. And remember, this is gonna get covered with a tail light, so we're not worried about look specific, purely so you can step on it. Double checkify everything. Cool. All right, so I will weld both sides of that, but I'm gonna let that cool off. So that is a pretty substantial thing. And it's gonna need something in here, but I'm gonna do that after I get the fiberglass set in. Let's go for mount number 2. All right, sorry for that fan going, but that welder's gotta cool off. And I don't wanna just turn it off because I want the fan to do its job. So let's just go from this axle once more. Same idea. So I imagine it's gonna be close to the same length. Yeah, 33 will do it. So let's go ahead and, actually I cut 2 of these at 33. So I'm gonna write on them that they're 33 for the other side, but I'm just gonna use the one we cut already because they are the same. I'm gonna cut it, well, I'm gonna mark these and bend it and I'll be right back. All right, did a little prep, did a little cutting. Let's do this. The whole thing here is when we take these straps off, we don't want this to move. Looks okay. But of course, I'm just gonna tack it and stand back. So I want this to be horizontal. And I want this to match up with the other one. So that is rising up quite a bit. There it is. Lovely. We're off of the strap a bit more here, so I'm gonna weld this solid inside. Step over here. Give this a master blaster. All right, so next time I take the axle off, I'm gonna get in there and really weld it and put some more gussets just like we're seeing here. This is to get the fender idea in motion. Cool, let's hit this. Yeah, I feel like we got a much better grab here, so I'm not gonna put that cap on it just yet. I think I'm cool with that. Let's take this strap off. Just letting this cool down a little bit. It's funny, without Jamie here. Now let's have a little talk about married life. Without Jamie here, I have nothing to do. I mess around with the dogs, do a little yard work. I work in the shop. About 4 o'clock. I mean 4 o'clock in the morning I've been waking up. Because I fall asleep so early. Because I mean, hanging out alone, Man, there ain't no fun in that. Not anymore, not for this guy. I spent so many years alone, and now that I've found my person, true story. I like this life. Having a good time. What am I gonna do tonight? Probably nothing. Fall asleep at 8 p.m. and wake up at 4 a.m. Right now it's 1 in the afternoon. I feel like it's been 3 days long. Fortunately, it's a cloudy day, so it's hot, but it's not like death to you hot. I don't know. Random thoughts in the workspace. I always love that in construction and whatnot, because you spent so many hours with other dudes, and you would make sort of friends, you know, cool cats you'd work with, and there's a lot of hours in the day. You just start talking shit like this. Can I say that online? Start talking stuff just like this. Just a bunch of guys in the workshop. Some guys would be out there trying to party. Not me. I know where my values are. You know, looking at this, I'd like to hit that with a hammer. Yeah, that's what I think I want to do. Where is that hammer? You know, the big one. Yeah, I think I just gotta... There it is. See, I'm looking at this tread on the tire from the front. There it is. Straight as an arrow. So as you can see, we always have this much room. So what I'm getting at is there's gonna be a ridge in the center of the fender. Once it gets, because these are fiberglass, so it's gonna get all glassed together, kitty hair, etc. But that's almost strong enough to stand on right now. Once that gussets in, forget about it. All right, our aforementioned piece of sheet is gonna go here. And yeah, that's cool. Just want this to come to the end. Let me get that big old clamp on it. Again, I'm not doing anything too fancy with lining this up. I'm looking at the tire tread. I'm calling that our center, and I'm looking at the piece of sheet. Just trying to find a visual center of that, because it's gonna get completely buried in fiberglass. And we're gonna bring these back into the mix. See what I'm doing here? Little flippy floppy. Nothing too critical, because that's not touching yet. Just trying to get eyes on the prize. There we go. That looks cool. Yes, yes, yes. I like it. All right, so since this is touching good, I'm gonna tack it right there, and then we're gonna run it right down. So see, we're ending up with that much space between the tire and the inner fender. So let our clamp help this a little bit. So the first one is really just like I do so much. It's a holder so that we can bend it to shape. So as a welder, this is part of your everyday. You're always cleaning the spittle. It's not slag necessarily, but it's a MIG splatter, whatever you want to call it. You see those little sparks flying. A lot of them are attaching this little copper nozzle. You don't want that in the way of your shielding gas. Got one tack. Now that we know it's not going to fall off, leave those. I wonder if we took one of these, turned on its side. Holy moly, the dang air compressor again. Woo! Felt like I just lost on a game show. Somebody's got to come up with an air compressor with a little warning signal on it. You know, like the washing machine, it plays a little song. Our air compressor should do that before they turn on. It's $1 million idea. So I'm using this wood to just push it up. Ow! You hear that roasting into my arm? It's exciting. I was getting a nice sizzle, literally right into my arm. All right, now we don't want this to wonk out too much. Wonk out is a technical term, so let's hit this side. Wonk out is a form of the term wonky. You don't want it to get wonky, but you also don't want it to wonk out. Tell me what you know, because that's what I know. Okay, so I really welded this thing because it's gonna be jumping around, you know? Every time this runs over something, it's gonna be shaking. Let me give this a quick trim. Let's put our fiberglass on. See? There's no gusset here yet, but we wanna minimize that resonance, that. I'll dress that up with the flap disc later. We're probably starting to get on in time here, so let's fit up some fender. Okay, so this is what this has all been leading up to. Setting that in place like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna screw this in place for the temporary, like I do so many times. And then we're gonna cut the bottom off that, but I think we can both agree, I think all of our multiple personalities can agree that these radiuses are different. We don't want to mess with that because that is awesome. So let's go ahead, make a series of relief cuts with the saw and let this open out. It's gonna have to get glassed. Hey, all in a day's work. You wonder why I don't finish anything. Once you change one thing, you gotta change everything. So, of course, I have ultimate respect for these people that finish projects in a hurry. Don't let them lie to you. They are spending money. 30 years ago, I was willing to work around the clock to prove a point. But again, none of those cars I built were show cars, like for the Amber Award or nothing. They were just hit it, quit it, make a statement. And it worked. You all fell for it. Metal Master. Come on. Just a guy in the garage. I'm the same person as you. Maybe you got some more money than me, or time, or ambition. I got creativity. Thanks for watching. So, we're probably going to cut the bottom of that fender off, and we know it drops straight down. So I'm just going to pay attention to this. I feel like we're on a pretty good run having this here. So we'll probably end up cutting off that bracket because that sweeps up there. But let's just say, let's cut it here, here, there, 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 and there. That's a lot of cutting we got to put back together, but I feel it's necessary. This doesn't flex like metal. This is fiberglass. All right, so as I mentioned, I know my tools. And yeah, the little screw in that plug fell off. In my moment of rage, I misplaced my saw blade. Okay, so with these cuts, I can't just cut it here. I have to go over the top because that's where it'll allow it to flex. That curve is what gives it so much strength. So these cuts are gonna look pretty dramatic, but it's what's necessary. It's like they say, you don't want to see what the Dr. Frankenstein has to do to make the monster. So I have the saw set slow so it doesn't make a bunch of dust. It's just kind of chunking the fiberglass out. Look at that, it flexes. Flexes like a charm. Since we got some air in that compressor, remember me almost jumping out of my skin? I'm gonna blow this stuff in that general direction. Because even though you're not breathing dust per se, It's still itchy. You don't want none of that itch. Now what I'm gonna do is just relieve this a little bit. You might hear a little cracking. It's like going to the chiropractor. You know what I'm saying? We're just taking a little of that stress out. When I say stress, it's a fixed position it was designed to be in. So we're adding stress. Asking it for a little different change of pace. Yeah. So we want to open it up. We don't want to break it. A little relax of the curve. There it is. Sweet. I like it. I like it a lot. So let's bring this out. Oh, heck yes. I'm feeling that a lot. Love it. That looks, you know what they say, like tucking a tire. Perfect. All right, so let me get my screws, and this might be a long drawn out process because I got, oh no, I have a corded drill. I was putting anchors into the cement for our shade structure, and I bought a corded drill. It's actually a hammer drill, but we'll just use it as a drill. And I got my battery operated cordless driver drill. I got an 1/8 inch bit. We do not want to drill into the tire. Remember that. Yeah, these are going to be ideal. Long enough to get the goal, but not so long to even approach the tire, because I'm going to have to take this tire off, do all the things, cut the screws back. So yeah, let's do this. I think an 1/8 inch bit will be perfect. Just setting this up to see. That's the right size. Yeah, that'll be cool. Let's make sure we got a good bit. Okay, we got 2 drills, bag of screws. Let's bring this out here like that. Is that what we want? I believe it is. Yeah, let's do that. Let's start one, just get the feel. Like this here. So what I'm concerned about is putting this screw in, not hitting the tire, but you'll see it may rise up off the steel. Hard to explain right now. With any luck, this will just drive right through. That's on slow. Please work. Let's see. That's what I was worried about. Let me get a different bit. Yeah, these screws are kind of interesting. They are they're screws for the roof on the old shop. It's like they're not very deep. It must be a larger Phillips, but I think I can grind the end of this. All right, so I bought these cheapy 2-in-1 screwdrivers from Home Depot. You know, the one where you pull the little tip out, and it's one style on one side, flat on one, Phillips on the other. No! Man, it's gonna fight me the whole freaking way, I know it. All right, we're gonna have to do a little more relief here. I'm gonna cut this off all the way, and then I'm gonna relieve that one, because that's where it straightens out. So yeah, the way that this is messing up here, I'm gonna have to get in there with some material, shim it out. Let me get my pry bar. So I'm gonna have to relief cut this more and glass it. So I can't roll this until I handle that, because I'm gonna shim these off of the tire like that. I know it's gonna shrink back let's push it too far. Yeah, I have to do that all the way around. Not really a deal breaker because we knew that this had to be shimmed out. But what we're having is a problem here. I can't get a clamp in there, I don't think. No. Sure can't. I might be able to just twist it like that. The problem I'm having is this leg is too big. So you know what we do? We do what we gotta do. I'm gonna cut that clamp right off. So we're going to have one specialty fender clamp tool. So we're gonna have to do 3 more of these fiberglass pieces. So we want that, we want a little offset. Fortunately, the prices of these clamps has come way down, which is awesome. Back in the day, this would have been an expensive thing to mess with. There it is. Problem solved. Oh yeah, and that's gonna make that so strong. There's so much tension in there. Excellent. These little shimmers are okay, but I think I'm gonna cut a whole bunch of blocks so you don't have all these big sticks sticking out. We're gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe a dozen of them. Be right back. Cut this one. Okay, so I cut all these little chunks, and that's what we're gonna replace these big old pieces with. Set them in appropriately. Way they're all spaced off the tire evenly. And I'll put a strap to gather that one up. Yeah, cool. And I bet these are okay. Groovy. All right, so now we have an even space. This is looking decent. And a little flip up looks cool. I'm gonna leave that clamp there too for safety's sake. So you can see how this surface is much higher than the steel, but that's all glass. So I'm gonna get in and bevel this out, grind the screw heads down, and I'm going to bring this surface right to that point there. So we'll have a nice little peak in the center, and then we'll do some detail for a footstep welded to this, or bolted, I'm not sure yet. But yeah, so I got a lot of labor ahead of me. We gotta do outside and inside. And then when the tire comes off, we got a bunch of trimming to do, but that's very typical for glass work. In fact, I may pull this down just a hair. Let's do that just for conversation. Then we can wrap this up. I feel like I like this flipper detail. So it kind of matches the height of the step. You know what, maybe we'll leave that. I thought I was gonna try to bring it down a little bit. But no, I like that. We'll keep it just like that. I'll tell you, the heat is on. Something about when it gets cloudy around here, the humidity is just something else. I thought it was a desert. That's a little bit different than the Mojave. It's humid. But this is cool. I can live with that. I like the way it looks. I'm looking at the tire. It just grabs the tire, which is cool. And then I'm probably gonna modify this. I wanna bring this in just a little bit because it's got kind of a flare out. But the rest looks perfect. I'm gonna glass the heck out of this and then move on. When am I gonna do that? I'm not sure, because I got some exciting stuff from the metal order that I wanna do next. So stay tuned. We're gonna little jewel until I can roll it out the door. Even if we get one fender fiberglass, we're committed now. You know, we got stuff waiting in the wings, but I'm gonna work towards getting this fender set. And okay, I gotta tell you, we're gonna build running boards. Boom, we're out. Thank you, see you next time.